Hi, everybody. My name is Dave Schade. I'm the director of the Alaska Division of Ag, coming to you live from my home office. We all have been dealing with the coronavirus, and while I did go out and I got my Moderna vaccine, is actually the one I got almost, geez, it feels like a year ago. I did have a breakthrough case, so we all, have to still be careful, do our testing, and make sure we protect each other. So that's, I'm letting everybody know that, we have encouraged people to get vaccinated, to be careful and watch out for each other. And indeed, sometimes you have to live what you preach, and that's what I'm doing. So today, I am really excited to talk about a couple of things. First, we got an announcement. We're going to talk about our specialty crop grants that we put out here recently. And then I've really got the privilege, we're going to talk to Scott Mugrage, the Farm Bureau president, about the upcoming annual meeting and symposium they're putting on. So I'm going to share my screen and let's do this first. So we really were excited this year with the special crop grant applications we got. We had 11 applications, and it was a pretty strong batch. But ultimately, it was brought down to 7 that we had the funding for with the review group. And so, we announced yesterday the Sea Grant, Alaska Sea Grant in Seward. They're going to do some work on seaweed processing, something that we want to see build that industry in Alaska. The University of Alaska, strawberry varieties. I mean, we are trying to build a berry industry, and so that's really good. Glen Ellen High School, love to see the young people getting involved, and that's with grow towers for specialty crops, and that will be really good. Down in Southeast, Chilkat Valley Historical Society has a really neat berry trial project. They've had berries down there since the turn of the century, and they're trying to figure out what are the best varieties in Southeast for a commercial scale. Really, really neat thing on that. Again, we've got Fisherman Fresh in Southeast seaweed, and how to go and grow that. So seed string improvements, a really, really interesting expanding industry. Homer Soil and Water, a great group of people that have been doing specialty crop work for a lot of years, and they want to talk about, or they're looking at how do you deal with accessibility. Because as we get older, it's a little harder to bend over and do our things, and they're looking at that. And then last, Alaska Rhodiola, the group that's working on that. Hey, they're gonna look at how to accelerate the growth and reduce the harvest time, so that rhodiola turnaround is not 4 years, maybe 3, maybe even less with that. So these, I thought, they were great projects. We forwarded them to the USDA. They were approved, and now we're in process with that. So I think everybody can see that it's a broad range of projects, and all really focused on the state of Alaska. That really makes me happy when our group goes and has such a variety and such innovative ideas that we can do, which really just leads us right into where I want to go today, and that is Alaska farming and building a strong future. And that is what their title is for the 2021 annual convention for the Alaska Farm Bureau. So with that lead in, Scott, maybe you can give a little bio on yourself a little more. I know that you're a cattle rancher up in the Delta region and that, but why don't you explain to people that might not know where you come from and your background, and then a little bit about Farm Bureau, and of course, we'd love to hear about what you guys got planned for the convention.
Well, Dave, thank you. And on behalf of Farm Bureau, I really do appreciate you giving us this opportunity to speak today. But so my background, I'm like you said, I'm a rancher in Delta Junction, Alaska. I farm with my farm and ranch with my family, my son, Justin, my wife, Julia. We employ several people off and on throughout the year as well. And we do even do a little agritourism things around here on the farm too, to kind of bring sunshine to what goes on agriculture wise in Alaska. So we like to show off what we do. We're very proud of what we do here in Alaska. We think it's a we think it's a great thing. And so anyway, with that, I'll go on about this trade show and convention. This is our first ever trade show and convention. In the past, we've always had an annual meeting and had some discussions and different presenters at those annual meetings. But this year, we're trying to incorporate more organizations and offer more outreach to people, and in agribusiness and in food in general. You know, we need to know and be aware of where our food comes from, how it gets here, and there needs to be, in our eyes, there needs to be a lot more of it raised here in Alaska as well as yours, I'm sure.
Yep, absolutely.
And so anyway, that's what we're shooting for. We're partnered with Western Sayre, is our partner this year in putting us on. There'll be a really detailed schedule coming out soon, but if you visit our website now, you can see a preliminary schedule. It has a lot of what's going on listed, but vague on the times. But there'll be a real detailed schedule with the exact times and things. There are going to be 4 rooms at sometimes during the 3 days of this convention. There'll be 4 different rooms with things going on. So you'll never be bored. In fact, I would say there'll often be times you wish you could be in 2 rooms, but unfortunately, we're bringing you so much stuff. The staff has been really good. The committees that are working on this, SARE as well, and their people, they have brought you a lot of presenters, a lot of different things to view and see and learn about or learn from. And I think it's going to be really exciting. And then, of course, we have a fundraiser event on Saturday night. Terry Clark will be there live. And if you haven't got tickets for that, please do. It's going to be a very intimate concert given by her. It's going to be an acoustical. She's going to sit right down on a chair out front, and you'll be right there close and personal. It's a very intimate concert. The Ken Peltier Band will be following up behind her to provide some music the rest of the evening as well. And so anyway, besides that, there's youth activities, and the youth activities are crazy. They've got some of the neatest projects going on. There's essay contests that are a little more detailed, but there'll be judged events. There's a model horse show. Dave, I've never been to anything like this, but I was on a committee meeting last night, and they showed me. I just had to ask. I said, I guess I'm ignorant. I don't know what this is, and they showed me, and it is going to be really cool. And they've got, I think, some live animal participation with some things too. Maybe some chickens and rabbits are going to be dressed up or something. There's a lot of competitions, a lot of youth activities. It ought to be really neat. The trade show is constantly going to have things going on in it, and there's actually a stage in on the trade show where there'll be different events and different speakers on that stage all day. They've got a program, Agriculture Jeopardy or Farm Jeopardy, and you can get a team together and join and compete in that if they're looking for teams for that yet. And so it's a fun-packed, full-packed 3 days of convention and entertainment.
So where's the location? I just want to make sure everybody knows where you're going to be at.
We're going to be at the Egan Center in downtown Anchorage. And we have the entire building booked, so there's just room galore and a lot going on. Like I said, a lot of activities.
All right.
Our keynote speaker this year is going to be our National Farm Bureau President, Zippy Duvall. And I don't know, I'm sure not many have had the opportunity to listen to Zippy, but he is a very entertaining and very interactive leader. He was someone great to listen to, and I think you really enjoy him. You get to meet him. He'll be around there all the time in person, and we'll probably have a couple of chats with him as well and stuff. So that should be very interesting.
So when's your plenary session going to be, just so people kind of know?
So it begins on November 11th, follows through on the 12th and the 13th. The The 11th is the afternoon of the 11th will be our regular Farm Bureau business meeting in one of the rooms. Of course, there'll be other activities in the other rooms. If you're not a member of Farm Bureau or you don't want to be engaged in the actual business of the organization, you don't have to attend that, but you can still be involved in the show. And there'll be many vendors set up in the vendor area too to visit with and learn from and learn what they're representing and stuff. All the different organizations and agencies from around the state will have booths there with their information and be able to interact and let people know what they are offering, how they available. There's going to be different roundtable discussions. One very important one I feel for the state right now is the red meat industry. I will let the cat out of the bag. There's some very exciting new things happening if you haven't heard. And so those are going to be discussed during that roundtable, I'm sure. And there'll be different roundtables. I can't think of all of them that will be there, but the new dairy industry, the new cottage foods bill that passed and stuff, there'll be some discussion around that, and lands, of course, fall under your purview, but we'll be discussing the Nanatucket project, I'm sure, and stuff about around.
Yeah. Mo's going to be there, and I can tell you that I was just up in Fairbanks, and the first 2,000 acres, the monumentation, will be done this week. So
great.
We're on schedule for a sale next year, and I'm sure that's going to be exciting news for everybody, as we really the governor and the legislature gave us the money to move that project along. So we actually have dollars in the banks now. It took all summer to get it, but we're moving. The surveyors have been out there, the contract to clear the lines in the next month or so. So, that'll be exciting news to talk about. Like you said,
that is.
I think I'm very pleased in an announcement within the next couple of weeks that we've stabilized the slaughterhouse industry part of the red meat, something the governor's office and I worked on really, really hard over the last couple of months, making sure that we keep our facilities open and that. And I don't want to let the cat out of the bag any farther than that until the final deals are done. But I've seen enough of the paperwork. Once USDA signs things off, we're going to continue to move forward, and that is pretty exciting news to be able to talk about. And I'm sure those folks will be there at your roundtable discussion. So yeah, there's a lot of real fun things, and so I definitely want to encourage people to come out and to be part of our community. And I think that's really great that you brought the Sustainable Ag Conference along. So anything in particular with that you have in mind that you want to talk about?
Well, they have a lot of things going, and I wish I could tell you all the different things that are going to be there, and the events they are offering. There'll be some breakout rooms on Sunday where you can actually enroll in a class that's going to teach you different things. I believe they've got photography for marketing. I believe they have a social media marketing class. There's going to be an instructional time for breaking down large animal carcasses.
Right, I saw that.
There's a list. I can't go on to tell you everything. One exciting thing happening now, the Alaska Peanut Growers Association, they are disbanding as their own organization, and they are coming into Farm Bureau, and they're going to fall under the purview of a commodity committee. And so this will be their first opportunity to maybe organize at this event. There's going to be, they're going to have sort of their own board that will be appointed by the board of directors of the Farm Bureau. And these people will be chosen from all around the state that will be kind of the leadership of that committee. So it's exciting. They call this committee a floriculture committee. They include all types of flowers in in plants in that committee, as well as peonies. But and there is a lot of peony things going on. As I believe the CEO of the cut flower industry is going to be present. And that's kind of late news. And I don't believe anybody's talked about that or knows much about it, but I'm believing he's coming in person to probably share some of his knowledge with us. And that's a national organization, which and a very large one at that too. Floriculture industry is very large nationwide. And so anyway, it'd be great to hear from someone like that. But there's also presenters that's been doing studies on some of the disease problems with peonies. And there's going to be presentations on that and tell you how to avoid those problems with your peonies and your farm. There'll be some classes, just how to start a peony farm, you know, how to get started and get into it yourself. So, and there is a lot of room in that industry. I can tell you, from
Absolutely.
my experience in the National Farm Bureau Association alone, that cut flower industry is huge. And Alaska is kind of on their own out here with the time of year when their flowers are ready. So it's pretty promising industry down the road, I believe, and has been successful for some already.
It was fun. Yeah, absolutely.
There's a really exciting thing coming for the peony growers. The Alaska Farm Bureau has arranged with UPS for a Alaska Farm Bureau members to be able to get a shipping discount for shipping your flowers around the world. Yeah. So, and you'll be able to join that process at the convention and trade show. Yeah, there'll be a booth set up right there to join. So.
Well, that is sounding good. So the one thing you haven't done is, I know you had a number of sponsors, so maybe you give a quick shout out to some of your key sponsors.
We do have, and you know, they didn't provide me with a total list of that, but there are a good many. I can tell you from Delta Saltus Soil and Water on down the list, just many. Sarah, of course, has been as a partner, but also a large sponsor with us. There is a great big list, and I don't want to leave anybody out, so I'll wait and tell them that you'll have to come to the trade show and get me to tell you then.
Great. Well, I know I saw the John Deere sign and the New Holland sign and other things. So you've got a broad breadth of sponsorship from the ag community, and that's the point. So I think you're trying really hard to open this up and make sure that everybody feels invited to this convention. So that
has been challenging growing that. Getting that, the staff's really worked hard, but it's been challenging with COVID and what's happening and the changes that come and go with that we've had a little hesitation by some of the participants in the trade show, but just not knowing what's going to be the rule tomorrow here or there. And so anyway, that's put us a little behind the 8 ball, but we still hope to bring you an awful nice event.
Well, that is so really sounds great. You know, I was telling you earlier that Zippy Duvall, he is a wonderful speaker from the heart, a man that talks about things from his personal experience. So if folks haven't seen Zippy Duvall or talked to him, he's down to earth. He's a real farmer, has dealt with the mental health issues, has a great story that y'all want to hear, because it's talking about how resilient farmers are, but also how we have to support each other. So, you know, I do want to commend you for what you're doing for Zippy, all of the group, and wish you all the best. So
thank you, Dave. We appreciate that. I've got a really special guest coming. That's a very good friend to me, and has been a very essential leader for me in Farm Bureau, and it's the president of the Utah Farm Bureau, Ron Gibson. He is a great guy. You're going to love to listen to this guy. He is full of energy and ideas, and what they do in Utah and their Farm Bureau is they do some amazing things, bringing farmers and producers and end users together in their state is amazing what they get done. And so he'll be interesting to listen to as well.
Perfect. Well, any last thoughts or any last words? I always try to close
You
out
know,
you the last word.
don't forget to get your concert tickets for Saturday night. I think they might be available at the show as well, but get them ahead of time. Make sure you get your reservation in. It is limited to how many we can have in the Egan Center, but yeah, 11th, 12th, and 13th at the Egan Center. Starts, I believe, bright and early, 9 a.m. on that Friday morning. So come out, bring your kids, bring the whole family. It's a great event. You can find out anything else about it and register for it on alaskafarmbureau.org. And check out, we've got a brand new website, really interactive, neat place to be. And Dave, appreciate you having us. Thank you.
Yep. Well, our job is to promote agriculture, as you know. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on today. So folks, I'm going to be gone next week. Rob Carter will be on for our next show. We'll be talking about other things. So with that, thanks again, Scott, and everybody have a great day. Take care.
Thank you. Yep.